In the world of Hollywood, movies get greenlit and redlit. They get remade and rebooted. But we are the ideal. I'm Sam Gasch, and you are listening to Ideal Remake. Alright, we have just watched Police Academy, and I'm now sitting here with Paul Laier and Kamaran Scholl, and we're going to talk about it for this podcast. Thank you guys for being guests on the show.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
My pleasure. So, Paul, you'd seen this movie before.
Yes, I'm very well-versed in the Police Academy franchise.
Oh, yeah? Why is that?
I don't know. I think they just played on cable television a lot when I was growing up.
Really?
So, I didn't really go out a lot or anything when I was a kid. I just kind of stayed home and watched TV on Saturdays and Sundays.
Good man.
Yeah.
But Cam, you'd never seen this movie.
Never. I saw Citizens on Patrol, which I've been told is the fourth movie.
It is?
Yeah. I saw that on vacation once as a kid in the hotel room, and that was my depth of Police Academy knowledge.
Wait, you were on vacation
Yeah.
somewhere other than where you live,
Yeah.
and instead of going out, you stayed inside at the hotel and watched...
Well, I mean, there's always downtime when you're on a vacation.
We were in the middle of a family road trip up from Florida to Pennsylvania and then Michigan. So we were in like South Carolina, and it was like, well, it's 10 in the morning. Let's watch TV, and then we'll pack it up and take showers and drive.
Yeah.
Fair.
So it was just on TV in the morning while people were doing shit.
It's not like they went to,
That's fair.
to watch.
You guys want to stay in and watch Police Academy 4?
I was an awful kid one family vacation. We were in Montreal to go skiing with like my family that lived in Canada, and I had a cold and I just was not into it. And instead of going out and going skiing, I just like stayed inside and played Pokemon Emerald.
Yeah, sounds like my brother.
We never went on a ski trip again.
We one time we went on a cruise from Miami to Cozumel, Mexico, and there was a stop in Key West along the way.
Yeah.
And my brother didn't leave the ship. He was like, I want to stay and play video games, and my dad was so mad at him.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So what did you think, Cam?
I think that if that movie were written and came out today, it would probably not be a comedy based on the amount of like racial tension and police and riot tension and everything.
Yeah. No, you could totally still do it as a comedy. We don't need to make fucking, that
Police Academy.
Yeah.
Well,
you want okay, so is your pitch for this a gritty reboot?
No, I'm not saying I would want to do that. I'm just saying, like, based on a lot of it. Because, like,
certainly the tone would have to be a little bit different.
Yeah, Moses Hightower. Big dude. At the end of the movie, he's, like, the second most important character in the movie. All he is just, like, the silent, large, black teddy bear. That is his role in this movie. He's just the intimidating black guy that scares the racists.
He also might be my favorite character.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
I'm actually, what concerns me more about the movie is how it's done through the male gaze. I'm actually more concerned with the way women are treated in the movie than I am, at least like, the black characters in Police Academy, like, can, like, stand on their own feet and be involved with anything other than, like, sex objects.
Yeah.
Whereas the women in the movie are, like, there's the Kim Cattrall character. I guess Hooks is the only one, but even then, it's just, like, she gets called, and there was like a racist moment, and then Hightower comes to like stick up for her.
Yeah, I mean that's why Hightower got kicked off the force
because of racism. Retaliating against racism.
Yeah,
he wasn't being racist.
No, he didn't say a word. He just was like, "You don't treat people this way."
I don't know the amount of times while we were watching it where everyone just went, "Damn!" Like,
well, there was
we don't say those words anymore.
Well, there was the Pearl Harbor line.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was so messed up. Okay, so the character who's described on Wikipedia as the ladies' man is trying to pick up a woman of some Asian descent. We don't know which one. It doesn't matter.
Mid-riot,
he's carrying a television, and he was walking over to this lady he's walking with this lady, and he says something along the lines of, my grandfather was at Pearl Harbor. Maybe your ancestors were involved there too. And it was just like, oh my God.
Just assuming that anybody of Asian descent had something to do with Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, it was messed up. This is actually the second time I saw this movie. The first, because I bought these DVDs because last year or the year before.
You lost a bet?
No. For the, those writer fellowships for all the different studios where you need to write a spec episode of something.
Yeah.
I was going to write a spec episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I wanted to do it with an overlay of Police Academy.
Cool.
People go back and do Police Academy. It's a fun episode.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And so I called it Police Academy 99 because I was nice, nice and clever.
That's really good.
But that was what I did. And so that's why I'd seen this movie once before. I bought the DVD case that comes with the first 4. I've only watched the first one, and I've only watched it once.
I was looking on here. Yeah. There's a whole box set available, man.
Of all of them?
All 7 movies.
Oh, boy. What really threw me off was that it wasn't linear in any way. Like, the plot.
Well, there's not really much of a
plot. There's no through line.
Exactly.
No through line,
I was expecting it to be, that stereotypical 80s comedy where it's like, oh, we gotta do this in time for the big bake sale.
Well, here's the thing. I think that's 80s television, because 80s movies are a lot like this. Animal House, Caddyshack. There's no real through line in those movies until, the very end.
But that's still true of some comedies now, where it kind of just feels like a series of sketches.
That's definitely what that one was.
And then the third act is where it's like, now we have a villain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the villain who's credited as main bad guy.
Yeah. Between main bad guy, and you described one of the previous characters as ladies man. It's like he's one of the main characters.
Well, he doesn't have a name.
He has a name. I just didn't remember
George Martin.
Oh, okay.
He's on the fucking sheet.
Whatever. But I mean, none of those characters were of any consequence except Steve Guttenberg and Moses Hightower.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Really no one of any consequence. And honestly...
And then kind of Hooks, maybe.
Hooks.
Yes. Hooks is... And we'll get to this. So let's do a brief recap of the movie just because there might be people listening who've never seen this movie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So the police academy's hiring.
Yep.
And a bunch of fucking dweebs and misfits.
Goobers.
Well, the mayor made it so that there could be no restrictions on hiring for the police academy.
New lady mayor.
New lady mayor. That's important
because
of sexism.
Is that what they label her as? The lady mayor?
They say that. That's what the
bad...
chief of police.
Yeah, chief of police is like, this lady mayor's coming in here. It used to be Johnson's as far as the eye could see.
Oh. Yeah. He says everyone used to be the right weight, the right height, the right color.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the new decree is that anyone, regardless of any previous whatever or who you are, you can join the police academy. You're in.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of lazy how they just did a crawl over that. It's like, oh, the mayor said this thing, and then it was pandemonium. Now here's the aftermath.
I bought it.
Yeah.
I bought it.
Well, it was fine, but I mean, maybe show us, people in a large line, someone with a fucking walker trying to be a cop.
I mean, these were those people. These were the craziest people that writers could come up with.
I don't know. The way the movie is laid out doesn't hold up well with time, I don't feel. Just because it's kind of like, hey, you're here to have fun, bring, some popcorns, too many boobs to bring the kids, but, your 8-year-olds will have fun, huh?
This movie had a lot of boobs.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Does Kim Cattrall's character, even say anything at any point?
She talks a few times.
She tells her snooty rich mom that she'll be okay, and then tells Steve Guttenberg not to look at her thighs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
And then she asks him to go on a walk.
Damn, pivotal character.
She was good in the movie.
Yeah. So...
Great, I'm glad she could bring that to the table.
Basically what happens is Steve Guttenberg's character, Carrie Mahoney... gets caught going to jail instead of just being fired. I don't know why he was being arrested for having parked some asshole's car in a weird way.
Destruction of property.
Alright, he broke some other guy's window. And he has the option of either going to jail or going to the police academy. But he can't quit because otherwise he'll go right to jail. Anyway, now he's in police academy and let's watch some zany antics. But when he's in jail, he meets
Jones.
Larvell Jones. And Larvell Jones is this amazing sound effect guy who's, I think, the lasting legacy of this movie is Larvell Jones.
Yeah, Michael Winslow's career.
Yeah.
I think him and Lieutenant Harris are in all the movies.
That makes sense. And I really know him as the guy from Police Academy who also got to be in Spaceballs.
If those are the only two things you're known for, that's a pretty prominent legacy to have.
Well, even when I was
do anything else,
going through the IMDb page, like the guy this movie is known for is way down on the.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, after watching it, I completely understand.
I'm sure he got a higher billing as the franchise.
I'm sure with each movie he got a line at least.
Well, I'm sure with each, I'm sure they didn't realize how big a thing, I'm sure he was just a joke in the first one, and then they were like, people love this guy, let's put him in more. Yeah. And Paul, you've seen the sequels, is that true?
Yeah, I mean, he becomes one of the more, hero characters in the movies. Using his sound effects to save the day? Yeah, and it's pretty much the core stays intact, where it's Mahoney, Jones, Tackleberry, and Hightower. Yeah.
Wait, Hightower's in all of them too?
No, not all of them.
Oh, okay.
There's the first 4, I think they're all in it. And then Gutenberg dipped out. And then, Jones and Harris stuck through all the movies.
Great. So, the basic concept of the movie is that Harris wants to get these people who don't represent what he thinks a police academy should be to quit. He can't fire them. They have to quit or something. And it's just them going back and forth, managing to become good police people, despite him being a shitty human being.
Yeah, the first 2 acts in the movie are just quit. No, it's just training montages. Yeah. It's just serious.
Training montages and jokes and sexism.
That's all that is.
Well, not even that. It's just a lot of pranking these other 2 guys who are there because they're also volunteering, but get singled out to have some sort of wacky role
because they're the tall white blonde people, and so therefore they get to be the enforcers.
Yeah,
which I think would be really funny if one of them had gotten approached to be like, all right, you guys are gonna be my guys on the inside. Okay, hey, this guy's being a real asshole.
Yeah,
just one of them's like, hey, you guys want to go get a beer? The dude's super racist. Anyway, you guys seem cool. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, they get singled out. It's all just childish pranks back and forth, but they all have very homophobic, strong homophobic overtones. Just we sent him to a gay bar. He'll enjoy dancing the night away with the leather daddies, who are super forceful. Yeah. He's kind of no, you walked in the door here, you're staying here, I need to dance tonight.
I'm sure that's happened in other movies, too. Just we're going to be having a party, let's send the people that we don't want to a gay bar, and then they're just going to be stuck there because those gay people sure won't let random strangers who don't want to be there leave.
The only 2 dudes that walked in wearing polos and not, a fucking...
bondage attire?
Yeah. It's those guys, gotta keep them in here.
Yeah.
These are the types we definitely want around here. Guys who look confused and scared.
Yep. They really contribute to the whole atmosphere we're trying to do. So before we actually get into our characters, how would you guys redo this movie? Because theoretically this movie is getting remade. They're redoing this movie. I pulled this from a list of upcoming movies that will be remade.
I think you run it like The Replacements, kind of in a way. That was a movie about a team going on strike, and so they just had to replace the players to finish out the season. I think the police force goes on strike because of, I don't know, wages and stuff like that, and so they basically need temporary cops to uphold the law in nondescript town USA during the police strike.
You could also go just full other way, and you could just say, in light of recent events of absolute bigotry and awfulness, half the police force was fired. Yeah. And so now we're just willing to accept anyone because we want to recreate this as not this weird elite set of bullies.
Inclusion.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that better. Let's do that.
They have to go through retraining.
Yeah. And I'm perfectly fine with the old school people who are doing the training and are we get it that those guys should be fired, but let's not go too far.
Yeah.
And still trying to make them quit.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And then I think there should be more of a villain in like the first. So it's like, you know, that we kind of like intersplice it. Like every time that we follow the recruits to the police academy, but there's also like a new like crime lord on the rise that I think that we should cut to.
It's taking advantage of the fact that half the police force was fired.
And he's capitalizing. He's making his drug deals. He's
See what I'm saying? This is immediately becoming much less of an 80s slapstick comedy because it's a better movie than they made. The general concept could be made much better than what actually happened.
But I mean, a lot of comedies, like the concept's not funny. It's just the way that it's executed.
No, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a comedy. I'm just saying it's already gotten like more serious, and we're like,
well, I think it's more serious. I want to create a villain in the beginning. So that way,
actual reason.
Well, two things separately building.
Yeah, and then when they meet in the third act, it's not like this guy came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
like the actual movie.
Like in the actual movie, like the Wingus and Dingus. Copeland and Blanks are just walking along and just have their guns stolen by a crazy guy.
There's a fucking hole in the fence.
Yeah, because they don't have like foresight. But I think that's an interesting idea, especially. Oh, I like that. Yeah. I think that's clever, Paul. Thank you.
Cool.
So then, with that in mind, I mean, a lot of the jokes have to be redone because a lot of them are based off of, hey, let's.
You're a woman, huh? You got a set of legs, don't you?
Yeah. Or gay people sure don't want to be one of those.
Yeah, right.
Like he literally has the line, Steve Guttenberg when Hightower wakes him up because he doesn't know how to drive and he has to do a driving test in the morning. Steve Guttenberg's throwaway line is, "Well, sleep is for F words.
Sleep is for fags," is what he said.
Yeah, which is. All of us reacted to like, whoa! What a weird thing to all of a sudden say.
Yeah, and it's not like that's a known expression or anything.
It's definitely not.
Like I mean, you know, time and place. I would get it if that was an expression that people said, but that was just so out of left field. It was like, did he say that? Did he? Like, I heard you guys react, and I was like, wait, what did he say?
Oh yeah, because you thought he said sleep is for.
FedEx.
Yeah, FedEx.
You heard FedEx.
Yeah, and I was like, FedEx? What the fuck is he talking about? I thought that's the opposite.
But to your point, like, it is a different, heavier concept because the needs of this, it's like 30 years later, the needs for a comedy now are a lot different than the needs for a comedy in the 80s. Yeah. 80s is all about what? Well, I sure don't want to think about all this Vietnam that's happening.
Yeah.
Well, this Cold War sure isn't fun. Yeah. I want zany antics to distract me.
You know what's not a Russian destroying my entire family? Fucking gopher on a golf course. Let's watch that for a few hours, huh?
Yep. And then now, a lot of our big, like a lot of the people who are taking big political swings at government are comedians.
Yeah.
What we've come to expect in a deeply tragic way.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess, I mean, that's kind of what we want for this movie. We want it to be political because that's what the subject matter is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely touch on some of those things, just definitely in a different way than, you know, one of Heckle and Jekyll yelling at Hooks, calling her a racist term, and then having the large black man flip the car, as was in the original movie. Yeah, that's it. That's the only reaction anyone gives. And the second henchman, after he says it, I love, they just show him in the background just whistling as he walks away. Like,
is that what happened?
Yeah.
You mentioned that when we were watching the movie, and I was like, is that what just happened? I was busy watching Hightower. I was like, oh no.
As he's making his way through the crowd, the other guy just like puts his hand behind his back and starts whistling as he struts off stage. Not gonna be here for this one.
The blonde guy who was in the car that got flipped was also the car that they stole to do the driving test, and Paul, you pointed out, I was like, just a random Confederate flag on it.
Yeah, you know.
So weird. Okay, so then let's talk about our recasting.
Alright.
I mean, I printed out this list for you and then I forgot a bunch of people, but let's start at the top of the list. I mean, Carrie Mahoney's kind of our linchpin. Who did you guys have for that?
I put down two possibilities. Some of my choices were based on just like actors reminding me of other actors. So in that case, for Carrie Mahoney, Steve Guttenberg's character, I had Adam Scott.
I can see that.
Or Donald Glover.
Oh, Donald Glover's good.
Donald Glover's always good, and I swear, every single podcast we've ever done,
Yeah.
he's been recommended for somebody.
Every time.
Because he's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I went with someone not known for their comedy, but they're really hot right now, and I feel like they could do a really good job. I chose Academy Award nominee Daniel Kaluuya.
Remind me who that
From
is?
Get Out.
Oh.
And Black Panther.
He'd probably be great.
I think he'd be a great in that Steve Guttenberg.
he's a great actor.
Mahoney.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like he can do comedy, man. If you just really give him... I mean, just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean he can't do it, you know?
True.
There's plenty of precedent of, like, guys not known for comedy, like Jason Statham, and then you put him in the movie Spy, and he kills the role.
Kills it.
And they're hilarious.
Well, I think that's because people know him as like a deadpan action actor, so it's a lot of it is like the contradiction of that people laugh at. But I see what you're saying.
The Naked Gun philosophy.
Yeah, there you go. That's another one. Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't known for comedy.
Oh my god! As we were watching it, when it got to Commandant Lassard, the kind of just bumbling guy in charge, the whole time we were watching, I was like, "This was made for Leslie Nielsen."
Yeah, it absolutely was.
For him.
It might have been written for him.
Probably was.
Well, the interesting thing is that, again, when I was reading Wikipedia, it said, the chief of police and Lieutenant Harris definitely want to get rid of all of the riffraff, but Commander Hurst is not as convinced and wants to keep them there, and I didn't see that in the movie at all.
No, Commander Hurst was the chief of police, right?
Yeah, he's in it at the beginning.
Oh, Commandant Lassard. Oh, shoot.
Well, Commandant Lassard is kind of the bumbling guy, the Leslie Nielsen character.
Then I wrote things down wrong.
And then Henry Hurst is the guy who seems like he's going to be much more important to the plot. That just kind of disappears.
He's in the beginning and the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, his at the end of the movie is he's just angrily walking down while some lady's talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so the Wikipedia page said that the Commandant was supposed to be like supportive and there for them, and he just wasn't. He was just a prop for comedic purposes. Whose fish was that?
His friend. He said it.
I love that. That was one of my favorite lines of the whole movie.
That might
like,
be the
is
best...
that your fish? No, it's my friend's.
That might be the best line in the movie.
It is.
It's so weird.
Watching a fish for a friend.
Yeah, as one does. And that fish is in there the rest of the movie.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
My Carrie Mahoney, because Steve Guttenberg kind of has this whole, like, I'm commenting on this thing, I'm not taking it seriously, but I'm definitely experiencing it, but I still kind of am bringing this group of misfits together. So, Joel McHale.
He was the third guy I was thinking of.
Yeah.
It's like, that is kind of community-ish.
Kind of. Joel McHale's, like, the one-for-one on-the-nose casting.
Mm-hmm.
That, it's like, if it were to go in front of a bunch of casting directors now, guaranteed that's who they'd pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Which is why that might be right, it might be wrong. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think Joel McHale is definitely the best.
He sounds like it. Because as much as I like Adam Scott, I feel like Joel McHale would be more likely, like, given that role.
Yeah, I like Joel McHale for it better.
The other thought I had, but I was also considering this person for a different role, Chris Pratt.
I had Chris Pratt somewhere. Oh. I'd originally had him for one of the, for Copeland or Blanks, but then I changed my mind. But I like Chris Pratt.
Honorable mention.
That said, I just saw Infinity Wars, and I didn't like him in Infinity Wars. There, I said it.
Oh, shit. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. He's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not going to say anything else about that movie. This podcast is coming out in, like, 2 weeks, so by that time you'll have seen it, but for right now you have it.
I'll insert my opinion here.
Yeah. I want to talk about that movie a lot. Okay, so then let's go with Joel McHale.
Okay.
Cool.
Then, I guess the next big name for the movie is, we could go down my list, but let's jump to, Larvell Jones.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's also, even though he doesn't have a huge role and doesn't do all that much in his movie and just kind of, like, goes where people tell him, like, hey, I met this random guy in jail. He wants to bring me to police academy. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're best friends.
I guess.
And then random sound effects sketches after that.
So who did you have for random sound effects guy?
Well, I don't know someone who can do sound effects like that, so I went in two different directions for it as something different. Like, if we wanted to do, instead of sound effects, impressions, then I went with James Adomian.
Okay.
Because he's just great at impressions.
Okay.
But if we wanted to go with him just being an odd character, because that's... Like, he does the impressions, but the rest of his character is just being some weird fucking guy doing impressions in the corner, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if we want to go for someone who's, like, legitimately weird and could do weird, Lakeith Stanfield is weird. Like,
what has he done? I'm not familiar with him.
He's also in Get Out.
Yeah, he's... have you seen the show Atlanta?
I haven't.
In Get Out, he's the guy who gets kidnapped, and then he's like shows up at the party. And
He's the guy who says "Get Out."
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
He says the title.
He in real life is a very odd guy. Like, I've read an interview that he had, and it was very much just kind of like, "Oh, were we always here? Time's a flat circle." Just kind of like that kind of personality.
Got it.
I don't know what we would want to do with that character unless you guys know someone who's good at
here's
sound
the
effects.
thing. Why do you have... We can totally do that in post. Doesn't have to be on screen.
But that's true. Although that was like the big pull is that
Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow's really doing most of those noises.
Yeah, I mean, then you guys said then we have to go find someone, regardless.
I
of how
have someone
famous
who did
that can do. Well, I just looked at this totally with the idea of just like whatever sound effects they can do, we can just do in post.
Fair enough.
And the gag's still there, but I just went with Chris Redd.
Who's Chris Redd?
Chris Redd from SNL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Pop Star.
Right.
Yeah.
Pop Star's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
My Larvell Jones is Reggie Watts.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Because he certainly does a lot of like the sound effects with his music and everything.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of like the idea of him having a soundboard with him, and it gets taken away, and then he like reaches into a pocket and pulls out a second soundboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, Reggie Watts is good.
And so that was kind of the idea I had for him. Just it was literally the only person I could think of who could do crazy noises and sounds like that.
I would cast Reggie Watts. I changed my answer to Reggie Watts.
Yeah, Reggie Watts works.
All right, who do you guys have for Karen Thompson?
Kara Thompson. I didn't do this on purpose, but I realize it now that I put Tessa Thompson.
Is Tessa Thompson her daughter?
No.
That would be great though.
I also wrote Tessa Thompson.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I gotta
Tessa
look her up
Thompson.
because if you both wrote Tessa Thompson, then we're probably gonna have to go with it.
Well, you know who she is.
Do I?
Yeah. She was in Ragnarok.
Who is she in? Oh, sold. That's awesome.
I don't know.
She was great.
Yeah.
This one was, I feel like, the most wide open one because Kim Cattrall's character doesn't really do.
Yeah.
anything.
Well, we'd have to expand. I'd want to expand the role.
Sir. Oh, I mean, like the role of most of the main characters, because like
Yeah.
the movie as is. Why are half of these people here?
Yeah. Exactly. Like I would totally change the whole Karen Thompson role and just make her someone who's just like really into the idea of like changing the system from within to end bigotry.
I'm perfectly comfortable with her being like the lead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
That's
her
a good
being
idea.
like the stoic lead, and then like the Joel McHale is like the one who's like and then she like puts him in his place. Is like, no, this is what's happening.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
I would love to see someone put Joel McHale in their place, even if it is just a character. Like I don't know him personally.
That's a good idea. So Karen Thompson should actually be the lead.
Yeah,
absolutely.
With Carrie.
Especially
Mahoney.
for doing Tessa Thompson. I had
Yeah.
Olivia Munn, but Tessa Thompson's way better.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that a lot. And okay, so we're flipping those, and that works for me.
Yeah.
So for our kind of like antagonistic, obnoxious Lieutenant Harris, who do you guys have?
I had two guys written down. I had Alden Ehrenreich.
Who is from where?
Baby Driver? Oh no, the new Han Solo.
Yeah, the new Han Solo. He was in Hail Caesar as the country guy. That was mostly just because he looks like the actor who plays Lieutenant Harris in the original. But the other person I had that I think would be great in it is Billy Eichner.
Okay.
That is a left field pick.
Right?
You
But
think
don't
Billy
you think
Eichner
he
would be there supporting the established hierarchy?
I think it would be great to just hear Billy Eichner, like see Billy Eichner as a cop talking shit to recruits. Just like, I don't know, his personality I think would be real fun for that. It might be a little
I
too
feel like,
comedic, but
yeah, but I
it.
feel like we'd want him to be on our side instead of against us.
Well, I mean, this was casting that was done pre us establishing that this movie is about like social change. That
Fair
we
enough.
were writing.
Fair.
So this is just based
I
on
think-
the character.
I think those are inspired choices.
Indeed, absolutely.
I, however, would go with Patton Oswalt as the Lieutenant Harris character.
Ring the bell, Patton
is
Oswalt.
is he believable as a cop though?
Yeah, especially, come on, like, that guy was, like, toadish and, like, you know, older, and clearly, like, the way that, like, Patton Oswalt is now is just, like, he's old enough where he's, like, a cop who's, like, had put in his time and is now, like...
Behind a desk?
Yeah, exactly, like, in that role, like, not so... I just think that he could nail, like, the screaming and, like, all the obnoxiousness of the character.
Yeah, but I feel like with Patton Oswalt, there would be a lot of, like, more physical humor. And there's already a character that kind of absorbs that.
It'd be a lot of, like, him walking up to someone and being shorter than them and them having to, like, look down and, like...
It would be
You
him
look me
bumbling.
in the eyes, Private!
But this guy is... Lieutenant Harris is short.
He's not short.
Yeah,
He's
He was only
average
short
size.
compared to Hightower.
He was shorter than most people in the movie.
He was, like, average size.
His
average
weird
build.
fascination with his, like, walking stick was so weird. I
Yeah,
don't even know what that is.
I didn't get that.
All right,
Like,
well,
I
who
thought
do
that was going to get paid off, and it never did.
I feel like Patton Oswalt would be
He
like,
wasn't the only
viewed
one
as
with a
too like
stick,
bumbling.
Yeah, Sergeant Callahan had one too, but, like, Lieutenant Harris was the only one who was, like, polishing his little stick. My casting for it was an actor named Adrian Pastar, who I know as... it's this guy. I pulled him up on my phone. He's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's General Talbot. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. he has a mustache.
He's in I don't know, some other things I've seen him in.
Probably.
I could see him in that role.
I went for the one for one. Apparently he's in Heroes. He's in Top Gun.
Heroes, that's it. He's the older brother in Heroes. Okay, he's running for Senate.
Oh, yeah, that's who he is.
Yeah.
Oh, I like him even
okay.
more now.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
That's kind of who I
he's a
have.
good pick. Because he's that right amount of, like, he's not physically intimidating, but, like, his position and demeanor are, like, more intimidating.
Yeah.
You could
Adrian
still easily,
what?
like...
Adrian Pastar. Pasdar.
I don't know why it matters that I spell it right. But...
All right, well then, if we're going to go with Adrian Pastar, let's do a flip and let's talk about who we have for our big intimidating person, for Moses Hightower. For me, what I wrote down is, I literally wrote down, Moses Hightower, we need a wrestler. Paul and Cam,
Yes.
who do you got?
I was thinking about this, and I actually went a non-wrestling route, though I did definitely think to get an athlete, just because up until the end, his role is so small, and it's just based on his size.
Well, Bubba Smith was an athlete.
Oh, was it?
He was a football player.
Oh, well, I even wrote down football player? like just, I don't know, some guy who's charismatic. I did write an actor's name, though. I wrote Chad L. Coleman. He was in season 4 of The Wire. He played Cuddy, the boxer. He's just a large guy. He's an actor. He's a large black actor. He's physically intimidating, but he can also act. So, if not, I'm sure there are plenty of professional athletes who would love to have a movie deal.
There's only one guy who can play Moses Hightower, and that's Braun Strowman.
Oh,
Braun Strowman.
Braun
Strowman with the W.
He used to be a professional strongman before he got into professional wrestling, so
Yeah.
he could do like a lot
And
of.
you feel comfortable taking a part away from a black guy?
Huh? What?
I'm kidding.
We just gave.
I know, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm looking at this picture, and this is a gigantic dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a monster among men.
And he can flip cars.
Can he?
Yeah.
All right.
He has flipped a semi-truck on television.
Has he?
Mm-hmm.
That's messed up.
I mean, not the whole trailer, just the cab.
Braun
We all saw it.
Strowman.
We all know it was real.
Yeah, no one got help at all.
He flipped an ambulance before that. He's a strong guy.
And I
He's a
think he'd
very
be an
strong
excellent florist.
Oh yeah, and like when you watch him in like the WWE, he's like he can do comedy. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's funny.
He's got a very composed voice, so he can do deadpan humor.
Ooh,
It's great.
good. All right, I love that. And honestly, I would love to see this guy just like trimming trees and arranging flowers, and I think that'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, great. Braun Strowman. I love it.
We can even fit in an "I'm not finished with you."
Get these hands.
Who did you guys have for our bumbling commander? I'll open up with mine. Like the guy with the fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill's good.
Ooh, that is a good one.
I went Pierce Brosnan.
Interesting.
I would love Pierce Brosnan to just play like a Magoo-esque character.
Yeah.
That sounds so great to just hear his voice and just be like, no, it's my friend's fish.
I just feel like he would play it straight, but I think that's the key there to like get an actor who can like really play it straight.
Mm-hmm. But like saying things that are just he's clearly not together.
Yeah.
It's like senility's slowly starting to take him, but he's still completely stoic about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be super interesting.
I wrote down a few. I wasn't too sure on this one. I wrote Bill Murray as one.
Okay.
He's a bit big of a name for the role. In the same vein, I also put Willem Dafoe, just because I think he would be interesting as it. And I also put Betty White, just because I think she would be pretty funny in that role. She might be a bit too old for it.
I think so. I like the idea of Willem Dafoe,
I think Willem Dafoe is the best of those three.
Yeah. And so, so between Pierce Brosnan and Willem Dafoe, because they're kind of similar ideas for casting, like older actors, although Pierce Brosnan I think is older than Willem Dafoe.
I think they're both. Yeah, I think Brosnan is older than Dafoe.
But I think Dafoe would be really good for the Commander Henry Hurst, the guy who's like, this is what's been going on.
Yeah.
That's what I would save Dafoe for. And I would put Pierce Brosnan in as the Commandant. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Unless you guys had someone better for Commander Henry Hurst than nothing
Willem
character.
Dafoe's good.
Oh, I just wrote Alec Baldwin because I assumed he was going to be a bigger character, and then he disappeared from the movie.
Willem Dafoe, that'd be good for like a cameo.
Do you guys know why he's named Willem Dafoe?
No.
Because his name is actually William, but there was a William in the Union, so he's Willem.
That's great.
I think that's right. But his name was actually William, and he changed it. Just like Emma Stone's real name is Emily, but there was already an Emily Stone in the Union.
Huh.
Cool. So we've got a couple other people that I forgot to cast. So let's jump down and hit those guys and gals first. For Glasses Guy. The clumsy glasses guy.
Oh, you mean the guy who features heavily in the second scene of the movie and then disappears until the very end?
When he starts a riot? Yeah.
Yeah. For him, I just put Martin Starr because the guy kind of looked like Martin Starr.
I get that.
And, Martin Starr is a known name, but I feel like he's not so big that he would be above that role.
Absolutely. And this is one of those comedies where they're just going to, get everybody.
Yeah.
And I cast very similarly, I cast, the one-for-one, the guy who looks kind of like him, who'll cover the same thing. I did Paul Rust, who's the other, opposite Gillian Jacobs in Love.
Have not seen it.
Neither have I. But in terms of, demeanor and, kind of... physicality and just, unearned confidence where there should be none. Yeah. That seemed right. Paul, who did you have?
Oh, yeah, that fits.
Ed Helms.
Ed Helms? Ooh. I want to put Ed Helms somewhere more interesting. I like Ed Helms.
Yeah.
But it also would be super fun if you have Ed Helms and then just don't use him. Ed Helms just walks in and goes, I'm Ed Helms.
There's precedent in movies of just, name actors still. And this is... What's the name of the podcast, Sam?
An Ideal Remake.
All right, so I don't need to worry about rules.
I don't think so.
I'm talking about my Ideal Remake of Ed Helms as the glasses guy.
Whose name none of us know. I mean, thought his wife would make a comeback at least.
Yeah,
She's
his
riding
wife
on
was
the hood of a car.
She was an Olympian.
Was she? And so the person, the person actually doing the leaps and jumps, was it the same actress as the one? No, because it was definitely a stunt.
Definitely. That is the most interesting character in the whole thing, because he just magoos his way into beating his wife on the way out the door in the morning, and then out of nowhere she just vaults over all these fences, chases down his station wagon, and then rides it on the hood all the way to the police academy.
When she gets flipped off and then disappears.
Yeah. Why was she chasing him down? Why was he beating her accidentally? She did not want him
to be a police officer. She was worried about him. She thought he'd get hurt because he's a klutz.
Yeah, I'm sure she's got a few bruises to prove how klutzy he is.
Yeah.
Because, she gets nailed in the head with, an elbow and a suitcase back to back. And a car door.
She gets She gets an elbow too?
I think so. She at least gets a suitcase and a car door.
That said, that sequence where she's like leaping over everything, diving in the pool just to get in front of the car, that was awesome.
Yeah. That was a fun little opening.
We would have to recast her as like some Olympic gymnast if we were to recast her, but I don't know. That's just one of those things you just got to get the person at the time.
Yeah.
But I have no idea who to recast as Glasses Guy. Does it matter?
I mean, do we even have Glasses Guy in our remake? He doesn't have a name.
That's true. How about we just cut Glasses Guy?
All right, yeah. I'm for that.
We can give that fun wife chasing him down scene to a different character.
Anyone. That can go to Tessa Thompson's mother. Like, you are not joining. Like,
that'd
make
be
it
great.
the older lady who's like, no daughter of mine.
Oh, that'd be so... Yeah, just based on the opening of that movie, I was looking at it, it's like, alright, here's the 80s, the tropes for a comedy movie. Steve Guttenberg's the Bill Murray, and then Glasses Guy is the Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
And then Harold Ramis just didn't show up in the movie.
My guess is that he's in a lot more of the movie and I'm just guessing it all got cut.
Yeah.
Because this is... Like, a lot of these movies get made in the editing room, right? Like,
yeah.
I certainly know that's what happened with Caddyshack. They just... And I know that because of the, what's the movie that just came out? The, A Useless and Futile Gesture?
Oh, yeah.
And they talk about a little bit how they're just like, we didn't have a script, we just, like, had fun on a golf course, loaded up with cocaine, woo, let's make a movie. We hated that gopher.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
But yeah, so let's just leave him on the cutting room floor.
Sure.
I mean, I think the only reason they left him in is for that awesome sequence with the wife.
Yeah.
And because he was the one who started the riot.
Yeah.
He actually does nothing.
Try that on a suit.
That's fair. I'll give that to him.
Oh, and he throws his apple out the window of
Yeah,
the
that's
car.
what's the riot.
Said.
Yeah.
Try listening.
Hey. I thought I might have missed something in the movie. And then it was just like, oh, no, the apple. Yeah.
It was Apple Day. Those guys were walking... Those two random black guys who also had a bag full of apples. Clearly it was them.
Yeah, I mean, the Apple Depot was just going out of business, and everyone was loading up on apples.
Luckily, we'll always have apples.
Yes.
Or just go downtown to the Apple store. No, that's different. Okay, so let's talk about Copeland and Blanks.
The Stooges.
Our two Stooges.
I picked up, because I think they'd be good in the roles, Bill Hader and Danny McBride.
As just the obnoxious white dudes?
Yes. As just like the, non-capable white guys who just get promoted because of how they look, and they kind of get dickheadish with power because of it. Especially Danny McBride.
Yeah.
Bill Hader, I think, would just be good.
It would be Danny
bouncing off
McBride
him.
basically doing his role in Vice Principals, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I mean, Danny McBride.
Yeah, basically.
That's
Yeah.
his role.
Danny McBride playing the role of Danny McBride.
This is my hat now. This is totally my hat.
Who's the guy that he plays opposite in...
Walton Goggins.
Oh, yeah, Walton Goggins also.
He's amazing.
great.
Yeah. I mean, he's amazing in most things. For Copeland and Blanks, I kind of went a little bit the other way, and I kind of wanted to go, like, the standard white jock, like, square jaw, and then I just wanted them to be completely incompetent. So I cast Liam and Luke Hemsworth, the other two Hemsworth brothers.
Great.
Because I just want them to be poorly acting, not like just being these beefy guys who just can't do anything right.
Interesting. Paul?
I went the complete other way, and I casted Kevin Hart and Dion Cole.
That would be fun.
As the enforcers of the old guard.
Yeah.
Who's Dion Cole?
Dion Cole.
He's a comedian.
He's a comedian. He's on Blackish, and he was on Angie Tribeca.
Who was he in Angie Tribeca?
Black Detective.
Oh. The one who was partnered with the dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I've not seen that show, but based on that sentence, I think I might want to check it out. If someone's got if it's a buddy cop show about a guy and a dog,
It's not, but I love both of those characters. The dog. What happens in the show is that this actor, whose name is
Dion Cole.
Dion Cole. Basically, his partner is a German Shepherd, and they treat the German Shepherd just like they do any other member of the police force. Like, they have him go get files, get coffee, do all these different things, but it's still just a German Shepherd going and doing all those things.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic. I really enjoyed the first season. It's super weird. I enjoyed the first season of that show, and then second season, they lost me a little bit.
Well, the first season, because they had that big marathon, right?
Yeah, because it's like they released all the episodes in, like,
But
A week?
didn't they just air them one after the other?
Yeah, I think so. Like, here's the entire first season of this show.
They binge broadcast it?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
It was wild.
That's a terrible idea. That worked. Did it?
Yeah, it got a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, for that reason, yeah, but I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna sit there for 10 hours and watch the whole thing.
I mean,
it also then went to Hulu immediately.
I mean, I didn't sit and watch it for 10 hours, but it was cool to like check in on.
Yeah.
Because then it was like a TV special. It wasn't like they just aired it. Like they had like in between segments of like in the studio and just like, oh, let's check in with our correspondent.
Yeah, I don't think that show gets as much respect as it deserves because it's actually super clever. It's the smartest dumb show.
Yeah, it's very Naked Gun.
Yeah, super Naked Gun.
That was not what I was expecting by the name at all. Like, based on the name, I thought it was going to be, some, like, artsy show that, like, your friends that talk about their favorite brunch spots would talk about how moving it is or whatever, and you would just be like, yeah, maybe later.
How many of the posters did you see for this show?
Yeah.
None.
Okay.
Not one.
Okay.
A couple of the posters, it's just, like, a main cop standing in a row just looking stoically into the distance, surrounded by palm trees, and the fourth cop is the German Shepherd. Another one was Angie Tribeca, so Rashida Jones, standing, like, staring into the middle distance. Yeah,
I know nothing about this
she's
show.
Angie Tribeca.
I know nothing about
so
the
why
show.
did you cast all these aspersions about what it was?
He just didn't know. Just
I
based
had no
on the
clue.
name.
Just based on the name and how people react to it. They're like,
It's an
you have to see it.
It's an
like,
interesting
yeah,
name.
okay.
I don't know if it's the best name for the show for exactly that reason.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a comedy.
But you
It
can't
sounds
call
like
it-
a drama.
But you can't, that's the thing, because it's very Naked Gun. Like, they gotta, it's like...
Everyone's playing it straight on the show.
Oh, yeah. Super straight. I don't know who I want to make our two cadet jerks, because
Maybe we can do
do a combination.
Yeah, because who'd you have?
Liam and Luke Hemsworth. I feel like they're a pair, and I'm perfectly happy to go with your guys' picks.
What about Kevin Hart and Danny McBride?
Let's do it.
Alright.
Alright, Kevin Hart, Danny McBride.
Which is which? I feel like Kevin Hart is Copeland.
Yes, because I put Danny McBride as Kyle Blanks.
Good.
Which one of them has the conservative flag on his car? Let's go with neither of them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can write that.
That works for me.
Just not have that because it's bad and no one likes it. They're bumbling people who defend the system because they got promoted to their own level of incompetence, and they want to keep having that, and they don't want to have to actually work for a living.
They were the guys who didn't get fired.
Yeah,
in the mass purge.
I mean, then I don't know why they're at. They didn't get fired, but they got told they had to go back to police academy.
They have to redo their training.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, exactly.
Or even not that. They're just plants. Instead of just having them be other recruits, they're just Now you guys have been cops for a while. We just need you to be in there to intimidate them and to be so good at this that no one else thinks that they're good enough, and so they quit.
There we go.
You have to go back for some extra sensitivity training. That kind of thing.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
I think that's great.
Cool.
Easy workaround.
Who'd you guys have for Leslie Barbara? The guy who's in the movie because he's overweight, so all of the jokes are going to be about him being overweight.
Yep. I just went with Felipe Esparza, just because he's a larger comedian, and
cool.
I think it would be fun. Plus, there's like no Hispanic people in the movie at all. So
that's a good reason to go with him. I also cast an overweight comedian, Leonard Oust, Ouzts, because he's an overweight comedian. He's a black guy, and like a lot of the things about him, like his eye acting is amazing, and that's kind of what you would expect for this sort of thing in this role. But I think we could use some Hispanic talent in this as well. Paul, who did you have?
I put Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, I get that. I see that too.
Yeah, I also wrote as an honorable mention Lil Rel from Get Out.
From Get Out.
Yeah.
Let's do your first suggestion, Cam. Spell that guy's name.
Felipe, Felipe. Esparza, Esparza.
Great. Though, that said, I do like the idea of doing a couple gender flips, and I did that for the next two. I did a gender flip for both George Martin and for Tackleberry.
Martin.
George Martin.
Yeah. George Martin.
Right. So what'd you get?
For George Martin, I cast Kate Blanchett.
Okay, cool.
So instead of being a ladies' man, she's a guy's lady.
Ooh.
So just like, can you imagine Kate Blanchett rolling up with just a car full of like young, attractive guys. She's like, all right, guys, I'm going to go do this. And she just takes off.
That's good.
That'd be fun.
That.
And I just thought that'd be fun and makes it a little bit more palatable considering how George
The
Martin
character.
was in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with yours.
I wrote Sacha Baron Cohen
Yeah.
just because that seems like a character he would play.
Yeah, it does. That's why I don't like him.
No.
Not a
Hot
big-
takes.
I'm not a big fan of Sacha Baron Cohen.
I used to be.
I was too, and
Now
then I
he's-
thought about it more.
Now he's gross.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in anything recently.
That's
It's
probably
because
why.
His movies stopped making money.
Did we already do Hooks?
No,
No, we haven't. Do you want to do Hooks now, or do you want to do Tackleberry?
Let's do Hooks.
All right,
now.
Hooks.
Or Callahan now.
Let's do
Oh, yeah,
Hooks,
wait,
then we'll do
wait.
Callahan, then we'll do Tackleberry.
All right.
For Hooks was really tough for me because I wanted to have a black comedian, and but like kind of be meek and not. I did some research and I found a comedian named Cheryl Underwood, but I'm not necessarily attached to that.
I went with a meek comedian, Martha Kelly.
Tell me about her.
She's on Baskets.
Oh,
now,
okay.
And she plays.
Oh, that's what
Martha.
Hulu keeps trying to get me to watch.
It's
I
supposed to
love
be very
Baskets.
good.
I love
Really?
Baskets.
Yeah,
Um,
like everyone I know who's, especially people who are comedians who've watched it, love it.
Or no, it's FX that keeps trying to get me to do
Yes.
it. Anytime I watch like
Yeah.
Atlanta on the app, it's like, all right, you're gonna watch Baskets now, right? And it's like, no, I don't want to watch this show. I don't know anything about it yet.
I don't really know anything about it either, but one of my clients is in marketing at FX. So
Mhm.
I see him like every few months, and one of the times I went in, he was working on a promo for Baskets, and it was the mom,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just silly, and I had no idea that the mom was played by a dude.
Louis Anderson.
Yeah, I had no clue, and
Yeah,
I found out months later.
There's just like great like jokes that aren't. It's just like weird details. It's just like Zach Galifianakis plays Chip Baskets. That's his name, and then he has a twin brother named Dale.
Oh, really?
Rescue Ranger.
Yeah, so his
Yeah.
but their mom is Christine Baskets, Louis Anderson, and it's just a weird detail that she had twins and then adopted a second set of twins.
All right. Cam, who did you have for Laverne Hooks?
Well, I'm glad we could lead it in with that.
Sorry.
I put down Susan Park.
I don't know who that is.
Who have you seen the series Fargo? Not the movie, but the show.
I haven't seen either.
Yeah, I've seen the show.
She is the other woman at the insurance company that
Oh,
Martin
yeah.
Freeman marries. She also plays Walter Goggins' wife.
Oh,
in,
Vice Principals.
In Vice Principals.
Oh,
She's
Yeah.
good. I like that.
She's
Yeah?
very meek.
I'll trust your
Yeah.
judgment. Say your name again.
Susan Park.
That's good. I like that.
Great. And so now we're doing Sergeant Callahan and then Tackleberry?
Yeah.
All right. For Sergeant Callahan, I kind of wanted to go with the 1-for-1 just because like the whole concept was just like this badass, awesome sergeant in the police force who kind of like starts being like, I'm against you, but kind of gets convinced to be on their side. Or is just like, I'm kind of like warming up to these guys. Also, I had sex with the weird one.
Mm.
Anyway, I did Adrienne Palicki.
Who's that?
Oh. Okay,
She's
yeah.
in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was Mockingbird, and then in the new Orville TV show, the Seth MacFarlane thing,
She was in G.I. Joe Retaliation.
she's also in
Well, I
G.I.
saw-
Joe.
I have not seen either of those movies, but I've seen one episode of Orville. Or I'm sorry, you mentioned
She's the
Agents of
ex-wife.
S.H.I.E.L.D. I haven't
The
seen
ex-wife.
The ex-wife. I don't know. I saw one random episode.
All right.
I don't know. Was she the alien?
No.
No,
Okay.
she's the blonde one.
Just don't worry. If you don't,
Okay.
you,
If you don't know who it
either
is,
look
it's
her up
fine.
on your
I don't know
phone
her.
or like
What was the name
forget
again?
about it.
Adrienne Palicki.
Palicki.
While Cam looks that up, Paul, who did you have?
I went with Gal Gadot.
Yeah, Gal Gadot is however she pronounces her last name. Obviously, she would be amazing at the role.
Yep.
And it would be a chance to see her do some comedy.
Yeah. Which she was very good at when she was on SNL.
Was she?
Yeah, I
Good.
liked her a lot on
Great.
SNL.
I'm for that. Cam, who did you have for Sergeant Callahan?
For Sergeant Callahan, just because I've seen Pineapple Express, I went with Rosie Perez.
Oh, I know that name. Oh, wait, Rosie Perez.
Yeah, she's the female cop in Pineapple Express. She's a good actress. I like her. She
Does
plays
she
a good
Do
cop.
the right thing.
I haven't. I recognize her, but I've never actually seen her in anything.
White men can't jump.
I would personally lean a little bit more towards Gal Gadot just because I mean, if we're doing ideal remake, getting Wonder Woman to be our sergeant would kind of be pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's talk about Tackleberry. Who'd you guys have for your gun-toting lunatic?
I had 2 picks. I had Eric Edelstein, who's he's a comedian. He's a large guy. If you've ever seen the movie Green Room, he plays the bouncer.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy that won't let them leave the green room.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And the other one I had was Chris Pratt, just because I think he would have a fun time playing a crazy guy.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good casting for that, actually.
I went Terry Crews.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah, I like that.
I like that too.
Terry Crews.
My Tackleberry, I made Leslie Jones.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Wild eyes,
Yeah.
crazy, just like, this is what's going on!
Yeah,
I think Leslie Jones is the best one.
Alright, I love Terry Crews, though. I think we recast him... Oh, what did we recast him as? We just used him in a movie just because he's amazing.
There's one... we did all those roles, but there's one that we invented that we need to cast.
The main bad guy.
Villain.
Well, we have main bad guy.
Okay.
As he's listed in the credits.
As he's listed in the credits, but we can just make him be, more. I went with Stellan Skarsgård, just because I was going for, the one-for-one creepy weirdo who, wild eyes.
Yeah.
But then I realized it could really just be any Skarsgård.
Any of them.
Any Skarsgård will do.
Get Pennywise on it.
Yeah, basically.
For the main bad guy, that was the last one I cast, and I wrote John Hamm just because fuck it. I feel like he would have fun playing a comical villain. And I also had, Adam Scott for the main character, and they like each other in real life. They're friends.
Aww.
They're friends.
John Hamm's really good in Baby Driver.
He is.
Yeah.
I reimagined the whole character to be this, to be a boss lady, a crime boss.
Like it.
And I'm casting Tiffany Haddish.
Ooh.
All right. I'm almost immediately sold on it. Tell us about Tiffany Haddish.
Oh, Tiffany Haddish recently had that the breakout role in Girls Trip.
Mm-hmm.
She's totally on the rise. She's absolutely hilarious. She's a comedian, and then she hosted SNL in the recent season. If not, last season. No, this season.
I think she's got 2 movies coming out too.
Yeah, she has one with Kevin Hart coming out, and I think she has a second one.
And that, because 2 of the trailers in front of Infinity War, I think she was in the trailer.
Of course.
I don't know. That sounds great. I'd happily go with Tiffany Haddish.
Cool. You alright with that?
I am good with Tiffany Haddish.
Cool.
But I want to make her main enforcer John Hamm.
Sure.
I like that.
I even like that as a swerve reveal, where all of a sudden it's just John Hamm, and as soon as he's like, gentlemen, if you'll follow me, she's right behind me.
Yeah,
or,
one of those, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Gentlemen, if you'll follow me, I'll show you to the boss's office.
And
would you like any waters?
Would we like to come up with a name for these 2 bad guys, or we'll let the writers deal with that?
We'll let the writers deal with that.
Yeah, sure.
Oh man, Tiffany Haddish and John Hamm's a crazy combination. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's super fun. We've got our cast, but who's gonna put pen to paper? Who's gonna create the world of Police Academy? Now, sometimes people like to do a writer-director. I have a writer and I have a director. What'd you guys do?
I did a writer-director.
So a single person?
Single people.
Single team?
Oh,
Got it.
I did a mix of both.
Okay, walk us through it, Cam.
Well, for writer, I put down 2 options. Put down Judd Apatow, of course, so that's the writer-director. And then the other writer I wrote down is Rebecca Blunt, who did Logan Lucky.
Oh.
Just
I looked at Logan Lucky.
You mean the supposed
exactly.
Rebecca Blunt, who might just...
That's her only credit, is writing that movie.
People think it's a pen name.
Oh, for who?
Probably Soderbergh.
All right, fair enough.
I heard someone say that it was Soderbergh's wife or something.
Could be either.
Like that.
But
either way.
But
people
it's
think it's
the only thing she's done.
It's her
only thing.
That's the
quote
only
she's done.
IMDb credit.
It's her. It's
Interesting.
her only credit, and no one who worked on the movie
Ever met.
Yeah. And
Got
it's and she's listed as and the explanation is, well, she lives in London. So it's some mysteriousness there.
Well.
So whoever Rebecca Blunt is.
That's definitely a pen name.
Well, I thought it was interesting.
Major Reckless,
because
the Queen wrote it.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting because Police Academy doesn't really have a villain, and it doesn't really have a linear plot. You know, it doesn't really have a through line. And Logan Lucky doesn't really have a villain either, but they make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, if anyone can take a movie with a odd plot structure and make it work, then this person could. And then the other director I put was Hiro Murai.
Oh, from
who does
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Hold on. Let's just deal with writer first.
Sure.
So those are your pitch for writer?
Yeah.
Okay.
The supposed Rebecca Blunt or Judd Apatow.
I also had two options. My first thought was I went through and I pulled up the writer for Game Night, which is a writer named Mark Perez.
John Francis Kelly, right? No?
He might have been the director, but the writer's a guy named
Oh,
Mark
you're
Perez.
right, my bad.
Is John Francis Kelly the guy from Freaks and Geeks that
Yes.
did, what did he do? Waiting? Did he direct
He was
Waiting?
in it. No, he didn't direct it.
Oh, he was just in it? Okay.
Yes.
And I pulled Mark Perez, but that's like the only thing he's written, and like in 12 years. So it feels like that sort of script that he was just sitting on and tweaking and finagling and working on for years and years and years. And while it was good, I need someone who's a little bit more prolific than that. So I also pulled up the writing team of Andrew J. Cohen and Brendan O'Brien. They did Neighbors, Neighbors 2, The House.
Okay.
So in terms of like modern sensibility for a comedy, that's who I had.
Makes sense.
Well, I have the same team serving as both writer and director, and that is the team of Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
Got it. That's fair. I can see that.
They did 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street,
Yeah.
the Lego movie.
Oh. Yeah,
the-
that's a good fit.
And Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, they developed that, and then there was another animated movie.
It's not an animated movie. I thought they just did the TV show about all the Clone High.
Oh, I've seen a few episodes of that.
Yeah.
From back in the day where they have like Abe Lincoln and Cleopatra.
Yeah,
And Gandhi.
John F. Kennedy and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, JFK's. Yeah. Gandhi's his buddy. Yeah.
That's a good. I don't know if you ever used Chris Lord and Phil Miller. That's interesting.
I mean, when we were talking about it, I was immediately thinking like, yeah,
Phil Lord.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Because I know a Chris Lord.
Because they got fired from Solo.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they got
That's
replaced by Ron Howard.
Oh well, I mean, it's Ron Howard. If someone's gonna replace you.
Yeah. Cam, who'd you have for director?
For director, I had Judd Apatow.
Right, Judd Apatow.
And Hiro Murai, HIRO MURAI.
Tell us what Hiro Murai has done.
He's done a bunch of episodes of Atlanta. Like I'd say the majority of the episodes of Atlanta. And he's also he directed episodes of another show I've been watching. So it's either Barry or Silicon Valley on HBO. Either one of them. I think it's Barry, just because that's more recent. But yeah, don't know anything else he's done besides that, or anything like about who he is as a person. But I really like the job he does on Atlanta.
Fair.
Claudio for Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, I love that movie.
That was the animated movie they did.
I own that movie. We could watch that movie right now.
Oh, could we?
And then we can remake it.
It's so we never could. It's perfect. It is a perfect piece of the fact that you just brought up Cloud with the Chance of Meatballs is a huge swing thing for me. My director is a guy named Jay Chandrasekhar.
Oh yeah.
Jay Chandrasekhar. Yeah, the guy from Super Troopers.
Yeah.
Broken Lizard. Yeah, I was thinking about that too, just because of the comedy and everything. Was having them do it.
And so that was kind of my pitch, like having kind of, but because he's connected to Broken Lizard, I would be worried about like
Very
the whole
super
broken.
trippy.
Well, no, but necessarily like, all right, I'm the director. Here's all my guys.
Yeah,
and that's
true.
not necessarily what you want for something like this, because his guys are great.
They don't get
but
cast in anything else, really.
They don't, because they're always working together on their own thing.
Yeah, but they don't work that often anymore, right?
Not really.
No.
I mean, Jay, say the last name again.
Chandrasekhar
was just in an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was great. So I like the idea of that kind of comedy and that kind of like directing, but the problem is that like all of the baggage that comes with it. Not that baggage is bad, but
yeah.
So that was kind of my thought.
Kind of warps the casting, bringing him as the director.
Yeah.
I don't know. He did Dukes of Hazzard, and he only casted Kevin Heffernan, so we just have to have Kevin Heffernan somewhere in the movie.
Well, sorry, Leslie Jones, we've got a different tackle. That's exactly where he would go too, because it's pretty close to Farva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really do like Leslie Jones in that role, though.
I don't know. Farva might replace Danny McBride.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
true,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he would be good there.
I don't know. I like Jerry Chandrasekhar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However you say it. Chandrasekhar.
I like the director from Atlanta, but I love Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Sounds like the project's in good hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, they're difficult to work with, but...
Well, maybe...
I'm excited for the summer blockbuster.
Maybe Phil Lord and Christopher Miller can just write it.
and then someone of color can direct the movie about race relations in the police force?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's go with, because it's our ideal remake, the Lord Chris Miller as our writers. Who was your director of Atlanta?
Hiro Murai.
Let's go with Hiro Murai.
Hiro Murai.
Sure. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his last name, but I'm pretty sure I got Hiro correct. Yeah, everyone likes
music videos, a lot of those. Atlanta, Legion, and an episode of Barry.
Okay, yeah, so it was Barry.
And, so I guess he's never done a movie?
Never done a movie, but...
Are the things he's directed, do they tonally match what we want for Police Academy?
Atlanta's a comedy.
Barry's
a comedy.
There's a comedy. There's different kinds of comedy.
I don't know if it's tonally what we want, though. I think
Chandrasekhar is a little bit safer.
Has the more tone. More of the tone that we want for this
I
remake.
think you're probably right.
His would be a lot more lighthearted.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. You know what? I think we've got a movie.
Yeah.
Let me do a rundown of our cast. So, for our Police Academy reboot, which we're going to set modern day, it's going to be a little bit more our
Karen
police.
Thompson
the reason why the people are in the Police Academy is because half the police force was fired because they were bad and corrupt and were beating up minorities, and so they all got let go, which is what we want to happen. And so we're training up new recruits to replace them and be a better police academy. So we are starring Joel McHale as Carrie Mahoney, Tessa Thompson as our real lead, Karen Thompson. Lieutenant Harris is played by Adrian Pastar. Commander Henry Hurst is Willem Dafoe. Commandant Lassard is Pierce Brosnan. Larvell Jones is Reggie Watts. Our two jerk cadets of Copeland and Blanks are Kevin Hart and Danny McBride. Laverne Hooks is going to be played by Susan Park. Our main bad guys, who are taking advantage of the fact that there's a power vacuum in the city, our unnamed city, are going to be John Hamm faithfully serving his liege, Tiffany Haddish, the main scary bad guy. And then we've got Moses Hightower, who's going to be played by Braun Strowman.
Braun!
Yeah. Sergeant Callahan is going to be Gal Gadot. Leslie Barbara is going to be Philippe Esparza. George Martin is going to be Kate Blanchett. So it's not George,
Martin.
It's George Martin.
Georgina
Martin.
Georgia? I don't know.
Georgia Martin is Kate Blanchett. Tackleberry is Leslie Jones. And for our writers, we have the amazing collaborative team of Phil Lord and Chris Miller. But they will be handing the reins over to our director, Jay Chandrasekhar, to helm Police Academy.
That sounds like it could be a huge
That's a
hit.
solid line. Yeah. Would you guys watch this movie?
Yes,
yeah, that's a big summer blockbuster.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, with that lineup, yeah. That's a lot of money.
Fun. You guys got anything to plug? Talk about your social media and where people can find you on the internet and things you want them to find out about you.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul Brawl. You can see
Do you want to spell that?
PaulBrawl.
Great.
Paul Brawl. You can come see me perform at the Ruby Theater on Sunset every Sunday at 9 o'clock on The Voltage and watch Ridiculousness on MTV.
You do good work for that show, Paul. Cam, what have you got?
You can follow my Instagram. It's Cam and Cheese. KAM _ the letter N _ CHEEZ.
Yay!
And you can follow my Twitter at Cam DeYoung, KAMDEYOUNG, as you can watch me in real time debate switching to that as a stage name. So that'll be fun. Yeah, just because I feel like it's easier to say, and it's still like a Dutch name.
And you don't want to be associated with foot products?
Well, yeah, that, but like no one ever looks at my full name written out on a on a mic list and is like, I've got this one. I know how this goes.
Fair enough.
So it's just like, I'll just make it easier on myself. I don't know. I keep going back and forth on it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I look forward to following and riding the roller coaster of emotions connected to it.
Yes.
And who knows, when this comes out in 2 weeks, maybe we'll have an answer.
Yes.
And as always, I'm on Twitter at Sam Gasch, SAMGASCH, and you can follow the podcast at Ideal Remake. And you can also hang out with us on the Facebook group where we talk about movies and what we messed up and forgot while we were doing the episode. So give us a listen, give us a download, subscribe, and thank you very much for listening today. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for your time.
Bye.